Hi friends, Happy New Year. I am StephREDD, but you can call me StephREDD. It's my first video for 2022. Today is the 13th of January and it is also a Thanksgiving video because today makes it 5 years that I was fired from a job. That's pretty much was my source of livelihood at the time, and surviving 5 years post a job loss is something to be thankful for. Something to be super excited about, and I want to share that with you over the next few minutes, and I'll be glad to have you listen through it. See you in a bit. So it's interesting how many times I've had people ask me so many times, why do I talk about a job loss with so much confidence? Don't I feel ashamed, or don't I feel shy that I lost my job? Is it not embarrassing for me? And I say, no, it's not. Because if there's anything at all that I learned on my journey of progressively and positively becoming the better version of myself, is learning how to own my shame and own the moments of loss, just as I own the moments of victory. And beyond just owning the shame, making a choice to do something progressively positive about it so that I can move from where I am to where I desire. The last 5 years have actually been moments of progressively healing, and there's something that came to me in the course of it. I happen to muse a lot, and musing is one of the things that helps me to heal. It's one of the things that helps me to constantly self-conference and speak to myself and ask myself what else, and tell myself what next are you going to do, because grieving and complaining and crying over something that you have no control over, something that you can't change, will only put you in a place of bitterness, frustration, anger, and every kind of negative emotion that will cause you to implode on self. So I learned at the cause of it to, yes, we often say time heals, but I say time heals in motion. You are moving, you are engaging yourself in the best way that you can to move you from where you are while consciously making the efforts to heal. And those are one of the things that I did. Those were one of the things that I did to help myself heal, to help myself look past the hurt of being fired from the job. And my story is, I share it often, I've talked about it. I was fired for not being a good fit. You're fantastic at what you do, you're a great professional, you're a great human resources professional, but you don't fit into our way. And those words haunted me for months to years, because there's something about closure. We chase after closure because we want to find a reason to understand why we are rejected, to understand why we were let go, to understand why we are not wanted by the people that we have committed blood, sweat, energy, passion to make something work. And when they don't accept us or when they reject us, we feel less of ourselves. And I've pretty much gone through all of that phase of feeling not good enough, feeling incompetent in self. So everything you get to believe about yourself, you doubt because you were rejected by somewhere, by something, or by someone that you trusted and vested a lot of your energy into. What pretty much happens is, when we vest a lot of our energy, when we give ourselves to something, we expect that there is a return. And when there is no return, we feel cheated, we feel robbed, we feel rejected, we feel unappreciated. And one of the things that helped me to heal was coming to the center to understand that I can't want to have control over people's decisions, and I can't have control over how people choose to think, to act, to respond, to react to whatever it is that concerns me. But I can have 100% control over how I choose to see an outcome, over how I choose to respond to an outcome, and over how I choose to define myself in spite, regardless of an outcome. Time heals and things change when you're in progress. And that's pretty much what has happened to me over the last 5 years. And I just want to encourage someone that is still stuck in the place of loss. Now, 2020 dealt a strong blow to many. 2021 also has, because it's almost like a ripple effect of 2020. And then you've had people not being able to get past that feeling, that experience of loss, or you're just still overwhelmed by the fact that such a terrible blow could be dished at you. There is hope, and the truth is, sometimes you have hope where there seems to be nothing really encouraging you to have hope. In your environment, in your country, in your nation, in your family, in your society, wherever it is you find yourself, everything is telling you no hope, no hope, no hope. But hey, you have to find a reason to hope. You have to find a reason to live in spite. And it was in the course of the last 5 years that I came up with the mantra of never give up until you win. And even if you don't win, ensure by all means that you finish strong. The most important thing is finishing strong. So, hey, I'm pretty much here to encourage you that you can finish strong. You may not win at it, but make sure you give your best at it, because once you've given your best, in the words of Maya Angelou, your best is good enough up until you know better. So I think the most important thing is to seek to constantly know better so that we can do better. When we know better, we can do better. But up until then, hey, pat yourself on the back and don't be too hard on yourself. Things come and things go. But I just want to encourage anyone that has had to experience loss in any way, hey, you're not alone. Now, it's very important that I talk more about healing after a loss, healing after a trauma. Loss is a trauma. The loss of a job, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a business. Many of that happened in 2020, even in 2021. The loss of anything that you pretty much vest your interest in, anything that you put in your energy and your passion and then you lose it, can really be traumatic. So if you ever feel traumatized, it is very important, hear me clearly, that you get therapy. I know in our climbs, many times we refute therapy because we feel, oh, it's for people that have psychological issues. No, I'm glad that there is a whole lot to talk about mental health these days. It's important that you see a therapist to help you through a phase of trauma, experience or feeling of trauma, so that you can begin to take steps towards healing and healing correctly. Because what happens when you don't heal correctly is you become vengeful, you are bitter, and you pretty much just want to transfer the same level of hurt that was given to you. You want to give it to someone else so that they will feel the pain that you feel. And many times, if you are not able to cause the same pain to the people that caused you pain, you end up bleeding on people that did not hurt you. You end up being aggressive. You end up being violent. You end up being all sorts of things to people that really had nothing to do with what you went through, but are actually just really coming with good intentions, either to connect with you or to build strong partnerships or relationships with you. But because you have not healed, and sometimes you tell yourself, I've gone past it, it doesn't bother me again. Baby girl, baby daddy, baby boy, it affects you. And it's one of the first things I had to do was come to terms with my feelings, come to terms with my emotions, because emotions drive behavior. If you don't understand what is driving the behavior, you would just end up showing up in ways that you don't know that you're showing up in. Now there's this fly that's trying to have a moment of fame, not on my video. Okay, you end up being bitter towards everyone and everything. You don't know when you feel people are actually responding negatively to you because they are jealous or they don't like you. But the truth is, people will most often draw from how you show up, which is why in my communication courses, I always talk about how do you show up. It's not just about how you talk, being eloquent, all of that. No, that's just an infinitesimal part of communication. Communication is how you show up being, how you show up presenting yourself and everything about you, explaining or telling about yourself and the things that you do, in the things that you don't do. It's important, that we're able to go in and check and self-conference to find out, have I really healed from this trauma? If I have not, what do I need to do? And that is pretty much what I did, and it worked for me, and I've also helped people go through that path as well. At the time I lost my job, I was already a certified and practicing coach. So the first thing I did was to self-coach, and I took myself through therapy. I asked myself the same questions that I asked people on my coaching table. I sat down and I x-rayed myself and told myself, hey, do you want to wallow in this pit forever, regretting what is not or what cannot be again? Or do you want to chart another path and progressively build and trust that one day, line upon line, precepts upon precepts, all things will work together for your good, and you will begin to bloom and blossom in the way that you have envisioned, that you have anticipated, and that you have intentionally committed the work for it to happen. So I encourage anyone that is traumatized by a loss to seek therapy. And if you feel stuck as a result of a loss, get coaching, get a coach, get a seasoned coach that can help you hold your hands through the process and show you now what the responsibility is, to help you see how you can work your way out of it and stay your way out of it. Okay, so it's not just about knowing what to do or how to do, but more importantly, doing, which is the part that sometimes we don't emphasize. The emphasis on the doing. It's not enough to know. It's not enough to become aware. But what do you do after you gain a new level of awareness, and how do you commit to becoming, setting a goal for yourself personally to say, I want to do this, I want to be this. To be that, how do you be daily? What do you be daily to commit to becoming that person that you ultimately want to become? Quite importantly, get a coach, get a therapist, and let them guide you through the process of healing so that you come out healed. I see many people that are unconsciously transferring their venom, and a venom that someone else put in them, but because they have left it, that the venom came when someone hurt you or someone fired you or someone caused you to experience something traumatic. That dropped probably a dot or two of venom. But because you nursed it, you rehearsed it, you repeated it, you focused on it, and it became a well, a sea of venom. And now you are teaching other people how to be venomous as well. You are spreading that venom to people and causing them to be toxic. You can rise above it. And I just want to assure you that it is possible. This has worked for me. It's been a process of tears and sweat and blood to build the StephREDD brand. StephREDD, I am grateful for it because it took me losing something for my eyes to open to so many other things that I am capable of. And I'm sure it will happen for you just as well. So stop by to encourage you, to remind you that no matter what comes or goes, no matter what gives in or doesn't, you never give up until you win. And even if you don't win, by all means, ensure that you finish strong. Wishing you a fantastic new year, a beautiful and a rewarding 2022. Looking forward to seeing you on my other videos. Make sure you subscribe to more. And hey, if you have questions or you have anything you want to share with me, do drop it in the comment section below. And hey, let us connect, let us communicate, and let us build the kind of lives that we want for ourselves and that we want to live for generations to remember. Have a fantastic day. I am StephREDD. Bye.